thanks for joining us on Thursday, January 11th. So we are kicking off the new year by helping you get organized and become more efficient, and our organizing and efficiency expert, Kristin MacRae of Organzing in Rhode Island, is joining us today. Hey, Kristin.
Hi, Molly.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we're taking on a new year. Many people have set their New Year's resolutions, and one of them may be to get organized in the new year.
Yes.
So a lot of people will start off with their New Year's resolutions. They'll go all gung-ho, and then they kind of fall off the wagon, so to speak.
Yes.
So we've come up with, how many simple ways?
Six.
Six simple ways to get organized in the new year. So what's kind of the mindset if people are taking on organization that people should take?
So I don't want everybody to say, I want to get organized in January and I'm going to try and get my whole house organized in January, because so many people do that, and like by week 2, just like when you go to the gym, like you're burnt out. You're like, I can't do this. It's too much. I started taking that apart a closet and I can't move on with any other projects. So don't feel like just because it's January, it doesn't mean you have to, I mean, you want to get organized for the year, but it doesn't mean you have to do it for the whole month of January and never look at it again throughout the year. So today I'm going to give you some good tips as to how to break it up throughout the year so you're not overwhelmed with January is like, oh my God, I need to get it organized and be done with it by January 31st, because it's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now, it probably won't happen because you have other things going on, life is going on, and so today we're just going to try and break this all down for you so you're not overwhelmed.
Okay, and you said that if you are making this a resolution, we're really going to take it kind of back to basics. So we've been doing this for a year, and you've been doing this for more than a year. But we're really going to take it back to the basics and help you kind of break things down. So maybe you've wanted to get organized for a long time, and really this year you're going to set your mind to it. Yes. But before you really jump in, you said you need to think about it.
Yes, so many people, again, January 1st comes, I'm going to get organized, and they start tearing apart a room without any plan. So again, you want to plan and prepare for this. Mark it on your calendar. Mark it on your to-do list to do. Don't think you have to like jump in without a plan, and that's how you get overwhelmed, because now you're overwhelmed, you're stressed out, and now nothing gets done. You're like, it's just easier to keep functioning like this than to actually tackle these projects. So just sit for a minute, empty your mind, do a little brain dump, and get it out of your mind onto paper and say, what do I really want to get out of this year and get organized? How do I want to function this year? Is it just one area of my house that I want to feel better about right now and focus on that? Is it time management you want to work on? Just know if you're focused on you want to get better with your time and be more efficient, you have to get organized first physically. So again, don't jump into time management, but get organized first physically and then jump into that.
Okay.
So prepare and plan and go forward from there.
So make a plan first.
Breathe for a minute. Take a deep breath and just breathe for a minute and get everything out onto paper.
It's very important. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the 6 simple ways to get organized in 2018, or just the new year in general.
Okay.
All right, so the first, number 1 step is to get past that feeling of being overwhelmed. And I think that's so critical, because a lot of people who maybe are unorganized or maybe even just have a simple junk drawer, it just seems way too overwhelming. So you said get over it.
Yeah, you got to get past the overwhelm. So many people think that organizing is it, like I just need to get organized, but they don't realize that there's so much that comes before that, aside from the actual organizing process. It's the overwhelm, you're stressed out, you're anxious, you're embarrassed. A lot of people are embarrassed by their disorganization. They won't have anybody in their house. Some people don't have people in the house anymore because they're just embarrassed about their disorganization. So you have to get past all of that first before you can even start to get organized. So how do you release the overwhelm? I want you to just, again, break the process down. Don't feel like you have to get it all done at once. Just start with a junk drawer. Start with a very small project. Start with a project like taking things out of your refrigerator. It's the January now. It's a great time just to unload the refrigerator and freezer. Something that simple, and then move on to the junk drawer, another simple project. Don't start with a huge project of organizing the basement until you tackle these little projects first, because that will get you in the mode of decluttering, categorizing, itemizing, the process, thinking of how you want to function going forward. That will help you get to where you need to be with the bigger project. So that will help, starting small to reduce the overwhelm.
I like that idea. Plus, you set yourself up for success.
You want to, you don't want to fail.
Yeah, so start off with those little projects, tackle it, and then once you can do something small, then you can work your way up to bigger projects. So I think that's a great idea. Sometimes those small projects aren't necessarily easy either. So
the junk drawer, a lot of people get stressed out about a junk drawer
because that thing is that thing has
a lot of
teeth. Those things are, ooh, man.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to step number 2 before I get too overwhelmed thinking about those junk drawers. Woo, man. Okay. Number 2, distractions.
This is another one. So again, you can't get organized until you eliminate those distractions. Set a time limit. Set a clock. Maybe an hour. Maybe it's 15 minutes. Maybe it's a half an hour. Maybe you just want to declutter your medications. And you say, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes. Or your spices. 20 minutes for your spices. Set a timer. Limit your distractions. Turn off the radio. A lot of people get very distracted if the radio's on, believe it or not. Some people work really well with the radio. Other people, it can be like a little bit of a distraction. So if it distracts you, turn it off. Don't turn the TV on. A lot of people will hear something on the TV.
Oh, that sounds good. Right. I love this show. Sit down and then you're done.
Yeah, and then you're done. Forget it. So shut the TV off. If you have kids, have them taken care of for the day. The phone, big one. Turn the volume down. Turn your ringer off. If something bings, don't check it. So all these things that are going to hold you focused during your project, you want to limit those distractions because that is a big hindrance when it comes to organize. So many people lose focus and get distracted. And 3 hours later, they're worse off than when they started. So distractions is a big one. You have to eliminate those distractions.
Okay, and so number 3 kind of goes along with distractions. Number 3 is, but it's also separate. So the number 3 step to getting organized in 2018 is staying focused.
Yeah, so along with distractions, but staying focused. So when people so many people lose focus nowadays. We have so many different distractions, but to stay focused, you have to stay in the room you're working in. So if you're in the kitchen and you find a hammer in the junk drawer and say, I need to go to the basement, put the hammer away, don't do it. Please don't do it, because then you're going to go to the basement, you're going to see something shiny in the basement, start doing something there, and you're going to be done. So I have a client that I have this challenge going on, and I had told them they had to organize their spices. So she went to grab the step ladder in her granddaughter's room. She started folding clothes. So she started folding clothes. Half hour later, she's like, oh my God, I need to go back to the spices. So please stay in the room you're working in. And people laugh, and she's like, I laughed because I heard you in my head, don't leave the room you're working in. I say it for a reason.
I mean, that's such good advice, and the reason why I'm over here giggling uncontrollably because it's so me. I'll start off by oh, I need to wash the dishes, and then I'm unloading the dishwasher, and then I find myself in the basement doing laundry, and then I'm outside mowing the lawn, and I don't even have a lawn. So it is.
Yeah,
so it's great advice.
Yeah, and so many people are like, oh, I'm fine, I can do it, I got this, and then they do it, and they're like, Kristin, I was in the other room for a half an hour. I'm like, it's true because so many of my clients go through this. I see it on a daily basis. So my solution to that is, again, stay in the room, obviously, but have a bin in the room you're working in, an empty bin, and start putting stuff in that bin that needs to go to other rooms. So now you're not leaving that room. Or gather all the supplies you need, if you needed a stepladder, before you even start, go into that room and grab it and bring it into that room. So now when you're done with your organizing project, you have this bin and now you can transfer it to other areas of the house. And it doesn't necessarily need to be that day, but you can transfer it and that needs to go into other areas. So that's such a big one, losing focus.
I mean, I think it's so true though, and I think that's helpful because then if you have that bin, then you're able to work on stuff later. And then you don't even necessarily have to tackle that bin that day. You can work on it in other days.
Exactly.
Other days of the week.
And one more quick thing, people will say, well, now this room is a mess that I'm bringing this stuff into. But know that there are going to be messy, if you're organizing your entire house, there are going to be messy rooms as you're getting organized because you're going to find things if you're working on paper if you find a paper in the bedroom and it needs to go in the home office, you're moving that paper out of the bedroom to the home office. Now the bedroom's organized, so when you go to the home office, there's going to be paper in there that you have to organize that came from the bedroom. But now you're tackling it because it needs to belong in that room. So you're going to be shifting things, but you're shifting them to the room that they belong in. And then once you get organized in that room, that disorganization will go away.
And I think that's great, too, because at least then you have a plan for what you're doing rather than just chaos throughout. So that's
people think, again, I'm going to get organized, but they don't realize all these other steps that go along with it.
Okay. So number 4, setting time limits, which I think it's different than minimizing the distractions and that kind of thing, but you said set time limits, so explain that.
Right, so for instance, if I'm writing my article for GoLocal Prop, I go put a load of laundry in, and I know that load's going to take an hour, so I know I have an hour to write my article. And then the buzzer goes off, and I'm done with my article. So same thing if you're organizing your spices or you're doing a closet. You can set a timer, or people are overwhelmed with their laundry. Throw some laundry in while you're getting this done, so now you can tackle laundry and this at the same time. So set a time limit. It could be 15 minutes, like I said, 20 minutes, an hour. I work in 3-hour increments with my clients just because I'm there and I'm holding them in that room for 3 hours. But you know, you might not have 3 hours, but set a time limit, and that's going to help you stay focused and limit your distractions too.
Okay. I think it's neat too because you are limited to those distractions, and say you do the hour time limit to take care of the junk drawer. Then you feel accomplished. If you've done it, you're focused for that 1 hour, you've done it, and then you said, oh, hey, look, I can do this project in an hour. Or maybe you don't finish it within an hour, and you say, okay, now I know for the next project I have those few dresser drawers upstairs. I'm going to allow myself 2 hours to do these things. So you now know how much time you need.
Exactly, and that's why I want you to start small, because you can start small with the small increments, where in the springtime where it might take you your closet, it's going to take you like a few hours to do, but now you've built up to that and you know the process now. So it's going to be a lot easier to tackle that bigger project.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really important. So not only are you building confidence, but you're building your understanding of your organizational tactics and how you can go about things. Because in the beginning, if this isn't how you've lived before and you haven't set up these systems, you really need to get an understanding of how you are working.
Right. It's going to be a challenge. Again,
So I think that's important. Okay. So setting up those times, those time limits, and going along with that, just kind of what we were talking about, number 5 is holding yourself accountable.
Yes, so hold yourself accountable. If you have to, make a chart. Keep it on the fridge for the year, or keep it in your planner for the year, and put down what date you accomplished this task, what type of task it was, what did you find while you were tackling that? Did you find money? Did you find anything valuable? Did you find things you were looking for or forgot you had? And then how long did the project take you? So as you're going through these sections, you can hold yourself accountable and keep like a little diary or a journal or a notebook of how you felt when you were done. Were you exhausted, or were you really like energized and you were ready to go to other projects? So I think it's great to like have a little journal or a chart graph to keep you accountable during this time.
I think that's so great, and you've pointed this out before on this program, that you keep a food diary, you keep a workout journal. For people who have migraines like myself, you keep a headache journal. So for medical symptoms, that kind of thing.
Of course.
So why not keep an organizational journal if that's what to track your progress. So talk to us a little bit about that on how just writing things down can help you feel throughout this process.
Sure, it helps with the mental clutter. Again, if you're overwhelmed, it's going to help with the overwhelm of all the projects you have to do. You could jot down in your journal all the projects you want to tackle. And then I have a client that wrote down in a journal all the things she wanted to accomplish this year for organizing. So just releasing that is one step of releasing that overwhelm. And then again, write in every day or don't. Write in it once a week. Don't feel like you have to, don't get stressed out about the journal now and say, the journal's stressing me out. So it's yours. Nobody else is going to look at it. So do what you want with it. If you skip a few days, that's okay. But get right back on. And again, just writing down things that you found or forgot you had is huge, because a lot of people, like when I'm helping them grow, say, I forgot I had this, or I was looking for this, and that's stressful too when you're in that. So just knowing that when you go in these rooms now, you're going to find what you need is a big stress relief too. So
I think it's neat too, just because like we were talking about with those timers and cleaning out the junk drawer, for example, or the garage, whatever it is, then if you write down, I accomplished this in 1 hour, it made me feel really proud of myself.
Yes.
And then that way you can know that you accomplished something and you felt good about it. And that way you know that you've made progress and that you can take the next step of cleaning out your closet or whatever it is. And I think that's so important, especially when you're setting goals like becoming organized or whatever it is. Then you can then go back and see, wow, I really did something, rather than you have a 45-page to-do list and then just feeling overwhelmed over and over again.
And then maybe even on the days when you don't want to tackle that paper, but you know you have to, you can go to refer to your journal and be like, the last project I was energized and it was like great. So maybe that'll motivate you to move on, like refer to your journal and move on to tackle that next project.
Exactly. So I think that's a great idea. And you hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
Okay, number 6. Okay. Think about how you're going to maintain once you've completed these projects. And you say this is usually the hardest part.
The hardest part is maintaining, because, all right, those systems there, and you're like, oh, good, my job's done. I don't know how, now what? Now you have to maintain. And it's going to be as easy as taking something out and putting it back where it belongs. I know it sounds easy, but how many of you come home from work, throw your clothes on the floor instead of hanging them up and putting them in the laundry basket?
Guilty.
It happens. So think about maintaining. If your systems are really simple, then it's going to be really easy to maintain them. But if those simple systems are complicated, then forget it. You're setting yourself up for failure. So I want you to think about just maintaining. Things go out and they come back into where they belong. Basically, that's all maintenance is, having a routine. And as you keep doing that on a daily basis, those routines become habits, and then it's just going to be your way of life going forward. So now those big tasks that you've tackled this year, you're just going to need to maintain. You're not going to need to tear apart these rooms like on a regular basis, like ever again.
So once you do the work, then you do the maintenance, and then you don't have to do it again. You just keep it up.
Maintain it, and then of course you might want to tweak some systems here and there as time goes on, and that's fine, but it's not going to be as overwhelming because the systems are there and it's categorized, so you're just picking things up and moving them as opposed to going through them.
Okay, so keeping that maintenance.
Yes.
All right, so, and you mentioned this at the top of the show, instead of getting your whole home or your whole office or whatever it is organized for 2018, you said to break it down, possibly month by month, which I just think this is a fabulous idea. So instead of just being gung-ho and getting everything organized while it's cold and snowy out, break it down possibly month by month.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to tackle this all in 1 month. I'm telling you, you're going to burn yourself out, and I'm telling you, it's not going to work. No. So not to be, negative, but I have seen this happen. So like January is a great time to tackle your kitchen. Holidays are over. It's a great time to clean out the fridge, the freezer, the spices, the food pantry. February comes along, maybe it's paper clutter, maybe it's your home office. March comes, a long month, you might want to do the basement or do another area, big area of the house. Now April and October are your months to do your closets, because it's spring to summer and fall to winter. Every April and every October you should be flipping your closet. So you don't want to really tackle your closet in January, because you could, if you want to, that's not a problem, but really going forward, April and October, or April, September, May, September, you want to do your closets. Don't worry about them any other time of the year. You have those 2 months to do those. And then the garage, May, June, before it gets too warm, but you want to be able to park your car in the garage in the winter, so tackle it then. Your bathrooms, March could be a great time for your bathrooms when nothing's going on. And then you want to leave October, November, December for like holidays and spare bedrooms when you're having guests over and, holiday decorations and decluttering those things. So like what you have going on throughout the year. Break those out. Just make a calendar right now, January through December. Each month, mark a project you want to tackle on your calendar. So by December, you're not going to be like stressed out. You'll be like, I have 1 room left to do because it's December, and I've accomplished all my goals for the year.
I absolutely love that idea. Yeah. And then for 2019, you can just simply do maintenance on all that.
That's it. Yeah. Again, 2019 comes, what do you have to do? You just have to maintain and flip your closets.
Maintenance.
Declutter the fridge a little bit, but you don't have to that initial big decluttering and organizing. It's going to be done.
So we say that now, but good thing is Kristin will always be here for us. So if you fail miserably on your goals, Kristin will be here.
I'll help you.
Moral support. All right, Kristin, thank you so much, everyone. We're here to help you as well, keep you organized and energized in 2018 and beyond. So please hang tight as we get set up here for our next guest on GoLocal Live.